Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Vice President, Research and International at the University of Waterloo. My name is Charmaine Dean. I'm really honored to join you here today, targeting in academia to promoting trust and understanding. Big job here. So the conference is, I see from the list of topics, going to consider some very complex and important discussions over the next 2 days. The Haudenosaunee people have a tradition of promoting and emphasizing trust and respect between all peoples. It is one of the many lessons we can learn by reflecting and acknowledging that the University of Waterloo campuses in Waterloo, Kitchener, and Cambridge are situated on land that's called the Haldimand Tract. For those of you who are not from the region, the Haldimand, we have a river going through the region, and 6 miles on each side of the river is the Haldimand Tract. So this was land that was granted to the Haudenosaunee of 6 nations. So our Stratford campus is also surrounding the Haldimand Tract. It's traditional territory of the Atawandera, the Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee. But we also know that there are many diverse First Nations in this region, including Inuit and Métis peoples. So by acknowledging the land, which is terrifically important to our Indigenous community, we are taking a step towards truth and reconciliation. But the major work towards truth and reconciliation at this institution takes place in our Indigenous office, Indigenous Relations Office, headed up by a fabulous person by the name of Jean Becker. And she's really embodying change throughout the institution in curriculum, in the way we think, in how we promote trust at meetings, and in educating us about Indigenous peoples. So institutions like ours, academic institutions, are supposed to be institutions where curiosity can flourish and we can have the opportunity to have new visions and discoveries. That's the ambitions of all our faculty members and our students. The environment in the world, as we know, is changing. And we're here today because we are processing a very violent attack that took place in a gender issues lecture. It's about 1 year ago tomorrow. The attack resulted in a member of faculty and 2 students being stabbed by an assailant. And as the legal case has unfolded, we have heard many disturbing details about the motivations of the assailant, the experience of those inside and outside the classroom. So many of us are still processing, working towards understanding how this could happen on our campus. And for some within our community, the attack hit us very personally. It was targeted to a gender and social studies class, social justice class. We're in Pride Month right now. The anniversary of the attack served as a really important reminder of how we stand with and support our community of 2SL LGBTQIA+ members. Many within our own community also face ongoing hate and harassment because of what they research and what they teach. So one of the things that we did over the last year is we held a speaker series. So Suzan Ilcan supported the speaker series over the last year, and there were several learnings that came to light over that. One of the interesting things is the interdisciplinary nature of the panelists who revealed how so many different areas are facing similar issues of harassment and intimidation. So evolution in biology, obviously gender studies, climate change, and I myself personally have been at an event where I've been warned just before walking in about climate change antagonists being seated in the front 2 rows of a major audience in Vancouver. I was talking about forest fires, which is an area that I work in, And it was at a major event, so about 1,000 people attending, and people who were completely against climate change and what I was saying about climate change. It happened that they turned out in force, occupied the front rows. The organizers decided that they were going to bring in support to make sure that it didn't turn violent. And then when I walked into the room, I had the pleasure of seeing that the whole of the back of the room was filled with people who were, I don't know, I don't want to say hippies, but people who were obviously in support of some of the things that I was meaning to say. So they came out in full force as well. And so then I know that the conversation was not going to be between a dialogue of me and the people in the front row, but a dialogue between the people in the back and the people in the front row. So that's a big help. So the importance of allyship, so critical. So one of the other things that we heard is that researchers are looking for more support and deeper engagement with senior leaders. And that's something that we're going to have to respond to. Bernie Dunker is here. He's an associate vice president at the institution. And so he and I will have to think about how we bring together the researchers to understand what is it that we can do to support them as they navigate these different issues. So one of the other things that I wanted to mention, and I know that it's something that will come up in the conference as well, is the very different time that we're living since COVID. There's a lot of polarization. Well, maybe it was there before, but it's now so much in your face. It's out in the open, this polarization. An erosion of public confidence and trust in institutions such as ours, in science, in democracy, and in the work that we do as academics. And then we're also being combated by AI and bots that are programmed to spread misinformation or disinformation. So we have within our institution, it's really important to be able to offer opportunity for diverse viewpoints, and I know that's going to happen at the conference here today. And we remain committed to an environment of free expression and free inquiry, but we also have to think about what's happening outside and how do we combat all the things that are happening outside that are maybe not aligned with that purpose. So I'll also note we have Christine McWebb somewhere in the audience, and she, those of you who are from Waterloo know that she launched a task force to review our freedom of expression policies and guidelines. And that brought in many members of our community to talk about their findings, and that was laid out in a report. So if you're not from Waterloo, that report is on the web. There are 24 principles that the institution is meant to now consider and address. Commitment to our mission, rejection of censorship within the bounds of the law, duty of care, a commitment to abide by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and applicable laws. Please feel free to have a conversation with Christine if you have the opportunity and interested in hearing what her work was about, maybe thinking about doing that at your institutions if you're not from Waterloo. So there was a principle of inclusive engagement, and the task force adopted that principle, and it really underscored the right to free expression extending to all members of the community. So I know this, and I think many of you know this too. We live in a world where power and privilege are not distributed equally. And I hope that in academic institutions, we ensure that those who are from historical marginalized groups enjoy full protection of their rights and freedoms, enjoy the expectation to speak and to be heard and to learn in a climate that's free of prejudice. I can tell you that that's not easy, it's tough. You're all talking complicated stuff today, and we're living it in a whole variety of different ways. So I'll close by saying that, we are at an academic institution. Our duty is to criticize, to review. I mean, we all review papers, and boy, are we tough on our fellow academics. But we also have to review and examine controversial issues within the boundaries of how we operate and work, including, what are administrators doing? What are senior leaders doing? What are you doing as a member of the community? That all needs to be examined and discussed. So I expect that a lot of that will happen over the next 2 days, and that also, I know you will do this, that we will all be respectful of ideas that are in opposition to each other. So I'll close by saying that this is such an important venue for us for discussion. I want to thank Suzan again for this, but really we want to thank all of you for taking the time to come out today and spend a couple of days with us trying to grapple with these issues and presenting your viewpoints, your experiences. Really look forward to hearing about all the things that happen through the discussions today. Thank you everyone for coming.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Sheila Ager, and I am Dean of the Faculty of Arts until Sunday at midnight. So I want to welcome you here. We are really, really happy to see this turnout and to know the kind of response that we got for the invitation for this conference. So as you all know, and as Dr. Dean emphasized, the genesis of this event was the violent attack on a professor and students in a gender issues class, an attack which took place 1 year ago tomorrow. Our Waterloo community reacted with shock and horror, and feelings which rippled out to other academic institutions across the country and internationally. Expressions of support and solidarity flooded in, including from some of you, and they were very deeply appreciated. As days and weeks went by, other emotions surfaced, emotions such as fear and sadness and anger. And some of that anger was directed outward toward the perpetrator and others like him who've committed hate crimes out of their own fears and insecurities and intolerance. But some of it caused us to question ourselves and our own actions, or perhaps our inactions. Questioning became more urgent. What were we doing to keep our community safe, or to be inclusive? And how much intolerance and hostility were we allowing or even fostering among ourselves? And we all know that self-reflection is good for individuals and for institutions, but such reflection should ideally result in action. And it wasn't long after the attack that members of the Waterloo community began looking for ways to learn and to move forward and to build something positive in the wake of such a deeply traumatizing event. And it's probably no accident that our students took an early lead. Just a few weeks after the attack, the students and instructor of another course in our Gender and Social Justice program organized the Student Solidarity Festival Against Campus Violence, which was a remarkably celebratory protest and demonstration of free expression. And in September, the Gender and Social Justice program collaborated with numerous campus and community groups to plan and stage the Urgency of Social Justice event, another public outdoor occasion that was both powerful and celebratory. As academics, of course, one of the first things we considered in trying to move forward was to plan academic events. And Dr. Dean has told you about the panel series on antagonism and intimidation in academia that we ran this past year, of which this conference is the culminating event. Even as we contemplated the possibility, or perhaps even the likelihood, that we had been blind to our own shortcomings in community building and inclusivity, we put faith in our ability to put an academic spin on anything. In the university-wide town halls that were held in the couple of weeks after the attack, not only did we hear about the pain and distress felt by so many of our students and our failure to provide inclusion and respect for gender diversity, we also heard from faculty across a wide variety of our disciplines about the antagonism they've experienced because of the subject matter of their teaching and their research. So scholars of feminist theory and gender studies and critical race theory, of course, but also scholars of evolutionary theory, of climate change, and of vaccinology. The panel series and this conference were inspired by what we heard, and I very much look forward to hearing you all bring your own scholarly expertise to these challenging and often frightening and painful questions. So many thanks for being here, and once again, welcome. And I would now like to invite Dr. Suzan Ilcan up to the podium and introduce her to you as the organizer of this really remarkable event. Suzan.
Good morning, everyone. It's really wonderful to be here, and thank you so much for coming today. I'm looking forward to the presentations and the discussions that will take place over the next 2 days. Before I introduce the keynote speaker today, I would like to thank specific offices and various people who have assisted in the development of this conference. A big thank you to folks from the Faculty of Arts, the Research Office, the Provost Office at the University of Waterloo, for their valuable assistance and contributions. These offices also provided financial assistance for this event. And I'd like to thank the Conference Organizing Committee for aiding in the organizational plans, especially during the fall term. And I would like to acknowledge and thank our conference organizing team, and I think they are here and they'll be standing up, who include several University of Waterloo PhD students and also assistants. So a big thank you to Lana Gonzalez-Balak, Bob, they're at the back, Bob Fentina, Neela Hassan, Murray Sadak, and Sana Shah. We've been working closely together since November 2023, so thank you so much for all of your work and inspiration